Okay, welcome to the third video. In this video, we're going to go over the IT market. If you're going to make an investment of your time and effort and money and things like this into changing a career into a specific market like IT, then you should do a bit of research on what that market is, what skills are hot, what's out there, what's going on. So we obviously have done this. We've looked at the market. We've picked a certain set of skills and a certain set of things that we have in the program. So what we're doing in this is kind of give you an idea of why we did that, what those are, give you a little information out on it. If you want to go out and do your own research outside of that, then you'll see that the things that we're showing you, we're actually encouraging you to go find the same things. Again, we don't want to be in a position where we're selling you. So at no part will you hear us say what the other companies do. Trust us, this is the skills you need, this is the skills you need. No. Go out and do the market. Look at the market. If what I'm saying is true, you're going to find the same stuff out there on your own. If what I'm saying is a sales pitch, then you may or may not. So this will help you in evaluating that. As also getting a little idea on why we chose what we chose in the different things. All right, so first thing we'll do is talk about the market. So if I go out here and look at this top thing, this is kind of showing internet growth over a certain number of years. So the internet actually started back here in the 60s, went for a certain amount of time, somewhere around this mark. Everything prior to this was called the DARPA network. It was a internal government network, and it was basically there to do research and development. Somewhere around this point, the Cold War ended. It was over. During this time frame when this was building, take my U.S. map here at Texas, there were some companies out here running a lot of cables across the country, connecting these different universities and research centers and military installations and all that. So they invested a lot of money running this cable. These companies were AT&T, Sprint, MCI, companies like this. So when the government decided to stop funding the DARPA network, basically said they weren't going to put any more money in it, these guys went back to the government and said, hey, if you don't want it anymore, can we have it? They said, sure. So now going forward in this line, this is now called the internet. All right, and that's basically how the transition happened. You'll notice that there was many, many years before things started to grow. So something happened here. Basically Microsoft, Apple, these devices came out, the PC market grew, so suddenly grandma's got a PC in her house. Somewhere around here you start seeing the traffic go up. These are things like AOL and Yahoo. AOL was specifically so non-IT people could actually use this network. Yahoo, believe it or not, was a graduation project for 3 students at Stanford. They created a Yellow Pages or a database on their favorite websites. Over time, that database and the search capability became what we know as search engines today, and that's one of the largest companies in the world. So we had kind of steady growth for a little while, and then we had this huge pivot. This pivot was the iPod and the iPad. These two things changed the way that IT is working in companies all the way around. Now this is 2009, so if I go up to 2018, it looks like this. It's almost a completely vertical growth, and we have no idea when this is going to level off, if it ever will. Because this is not just changed IT, it's changed how human beings communicate with each other. So it's a very fundamental shift, and that drove a lot of data, a lot of different things that change how companies work, how people work. So a lot of different transitions. Now, a couple things I'll tell you that's kind of interesting based on what we talked about in the last video is right about in here, time frame, A+ certification came out. Right about this time frame, CCNA Route and Switch came out. All right, so some of the certifications like Network Plus, Security Plus, some of these things were all popping around in the market from this point of view. Now that's from here to here. So I'll let you decide if something that was worth something here is still worth the same thing here. Okay? Are these the same skill sets that are being used in the market now? Now, these certifications, one of the problems with them, there's a good use for them. They are foundational. They give you a lot of just basic knowledge. Not anything people necessarily want to pay you for, but they're just basic knowledge. Problem is, there's probably 1 million people out in the market that have these certifications right now. So even if you did do one of the other programs and you worked really hard over the next 2 months or 2 years and you got them, what in the world makes you different from the other 1 million resumes I can pull? Okay, so this is one of our views about it. It's not that we think these certifications are bad. We just think it's bad that people charge you that much for it and then give you the hope that that's going to help you get in a career, because that's not what I would tell you. Every technology has basically got a wave. Why should I get you in a skill that's at this point of the wave and you only got this amount of money before, this amount of time before you got to start over again? So when we looked at the skills we put in, we kind of look for skills that were in this part. I don't want to get you here because a lot of times they come up and then they just die. So I wanted to make sure they're stable, but I wanted to see a 10 to 20 year growth pattern on it before there's even any hint that it might start dying down. Because this is a career amount of time and I want you to make money on it. So I'm looking at your time, your money, the employer that's paying for your program, all the stuff that you're going to put in. This is an investment. And over time, it should have a return on investment. What I'm looking at is over a 10-year span of time, I wanted to make sure the skills that we put in the program would create $1 million worth of salary potential. That's an average of $100,000 a year based on the skill sets that we put in. Now, whether you can make that on the first year, maybe it's a little less. If you're still making only $100K after 10 years of experience, then you got personality issues. People just don't like you. Because you should be doing far, far beyond that. Okay, so the idea is to make sure that what we put in here, we weren't getting a return on investment because we pay a very cheap amount for instructors. The courses don't cost us a lot of money, so we make 70% profit. That would be a good return on investment on me. That's why those schools do that. What I'm looking on is a good return on investment for you. Okay, what you would get over time. So that's a little bit about why we did that. Let me erase that out. Go to the next slide. Some of the stuff that's happened today when you go out and look at the market, there's a lot of transitions happening now. The amount of data that you create on that iPhone that you have is more than what a lot of humankind as a whole created in 3,000 or 4,000 years before you. Now, most of that data is absolutely useless. It's Snapchat and Twitter, Facebook, all kinds of crap where it's just a waste of time. But businesses have figured out if they watch your Facebook, they watch your Instagram, they watch your Snapchats, they get to learn a lot about you, your buying habits, your spending habits, where you drove in town, as that thing is tracking your location. They can now know that, hey, this is a great spot to put a business, because we got a lot of traffic coming by there. So they do a lot of analytics on you. If you don't believe me, here's a little exercise you can do. Go out in your car, my really bad car. Take your iPhone, put it in there, turn it off. Lock the door. Go in your house. Go in your office where your computer is. Get on your computer and Google. Google anything you want. Anything but porn. Some sort of product. Just literally think off the wall. Now when that search comes up, actually click on a couple of these searches. Then shut down your computer, turn it off. Go back out to your car, get your iPhone, turn it on, open up Facebook. Okay? Two completely different companies, two completely different applications, two completely different devices. And I want you to count the number of minutes it takes before you see an ad pop up in your Facebook feed about this stuff. All of this stuff is connected, guys. If I want to go do a marketing campaign, I can market your race, your religion, what size pants you wear, where you bought your clothes, what kind of restaurants you go to, whether you rent, whether you have a mortgage, all kinds, you name it. There's so much data that they can pull off of you just based off of your habits. Because that's there, you can better believe that companies see money in this. All right? They're in the business of buying and selling things. So if they can figure out better ways to reach you, they're certainly going to be on it. They see this as triple-digit $1 trillion worth of potential revenue out there over the next 10 years. So this is where they're going to invest, is where they see money. The skills that are involved in this, probably are not about putting together PCs and hard drives and laptops and A+ stuff. It's probably not about subnetting and CCNA. It's probably about wireless and data center and cloud and security, because these are the things that are driving the technologies that are behind the scenes. This is what we call digital transformation and the Internet of Everything. I'll show you another example here. That this has been actually going on for a couple years, but some of you might almost think this is science fiction. So let's say I walk in and this is a grocery store. On my little iPad or iPhone, I went ahead and loaded the app for that grocery store. It's got my credit card information in it, maybe even having my grocery list in it. Okay, I show up at the store. The wireless on the phone connects with the wireless in the grocery store. I suddenly immediately know that you've been in this grocery store 10 times in the last month. I know the top products you bought were Corona. You like beer. You like lime in your Corona too. All right. I know your spending habits on this. Now, as you walk through the store, I actually track your location as you're going because I've got wireless access points all over the store and they're triangulating on where you are. So I literally know you are now standing right here. And this is Corona. You are 30 inches away from it. Suddenly, I send you a 40% off Corona if you buy right now. Now, I don't care if you got 3 refrigerators full of Corona. You're going to buy some Corona because how can you pass up that deal? That's a great deal. Now, if you want to go further, you can scan that with your phone, pay for it with your credit card, and walk out the store with it. You may even be able to send a message over to this guy. He'll package it up. He'll deliver it to your house. Okay, this kind of stuff has been going on for a long time. Want to go a step further? Go look at most of the appliances that are for sale today. Your wife can type something on the screen. It sends a message to you, and now you know what to buy while you're there. Better yet, you got an egg carton in here. You only got 1 egg left. Refrigerator knows you're low on eggs. It sends a message to this guy. This guy goes over here, grabs some eggs off the shelf, puts it in the box. They put it in a big truck, and they drive that truck to your house, and they deliver your eggs. Now your refrigerator can actually do its own grocery shopping. Okay? This is what we call the Internet of Everything, guys. Everything's connected. Literally on this guy, it may be his phone, it may be his watch, it may be his shoes, it may be his jacket, it may be his glasses. All these things are collecting data on you. Okay? So this is where companies want to see it. Now, the amount of wireless that I have to have in here, for example, it's going to be the most expensive wireless deployment that this store has ever done. Now, let's talk about grocery store for a minute. If you want to save money in a grocery store, look at the stuff that's on the bottom shelf. Look at the stuff that's on the top of the shelf. These are the best deals for you. The stuff that's right in the middle on the line eyesight, this is the best deals for the grocery store. That's where they make the most profit. That's why, all the stuff in the middle is different from the produce and the things on the outside. They make most of their money in the middle, and they make most of it on the middle of the shelf. If they spend a couple $1 million a year coming up with where they put things on the shelves, what do you think they're going to spend for this kind of technology? Because this is all new revenue coming in. They can literally send you a coupon. You think about the people that cut out coupons every month and take that big envelope in the store and do all that. This is like a real-time targeted coupon system that goes directly at you. That CEO, he loves to hear that kind of stuff. So what will he spend in this technology? And the people that support it, he'll spend lots of money on it because it creates lots of revenue. Behind the scenes, keeping all this stuff up is going to be data center and cloud, keeping the analytics. You got wireless, obviously, all over here. And then you got security because you got the guy's credit card and doing transactions on it. So these are the skills that I would want to have if I want to get some of that money that CEO is going to spend to invest in this type of technology. So these are the things that we included in the course. These are the cutting edge skills that all companies are looking for because they all want to get on this bandwagon. All right. Now, just to give you a little bit further, go out and look at the market. You can look these things up yourself. Tom's IP Pro does a lot of surveys on like the most requested skills, the skills on the job boards that get the most jobs, the highest salaries, all that. What I'm circling is all the courses that are in our program. What you don't see A Plus, you don't see Security Plus, you don't see CCNA Route and Switch. Why? Because they're not in the most demand. So we make sure our program has the things that are in the categories as well as across the board in the certifications. Most of you start somewhere around here. Depending on where you're at, it'll move a little bit further one way or the other. You're going to learn this set of skills, in the 36 months. Most of you will end the program somewhere in here because you're not going to get somebody to jump you from 50 to 100. So let's say you're going to lead the program at $70,000, but you're going to be worth somewhere in here because that's what the market bears. Now, guys, you can look this up. This is Robert Half. This is the salary guide for 2016. They haven't put out the one for 17. They literally go out, interview, survey, and ask people that carry these certifications in these job titles what they make. So this is real data, and then that's an average. These numbers over here are not make-believe. Now, don't get me wrong, these certifications at this level are no joke. They're hard. A lot of people spend, way more than 7 years to get to this level. But once you start to get into the experience level that comes in here, depending on the skill set that you have and the technologies and how well you keep tracking that over your career, whether or not you get into some management positions, this is not crazy. If I go into New York, I may be able to double that amount of money. Now, if I live in Iowa out in a cornfield somewhere and there's not a whole lot of IT out there, then I'm probably not going to make $270,000. So it is market driven. But the idea that I want you to get across is that IT doesn't really have a ceiling. It's all what you make of it. So it's a good career to invest in because you can do a lot with it. And that's all I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to say, ooh, don't you want to do my program because you'll make $270,000. I don't know if you would ever track yourself up that high or not. But where you want to go will be in your decision, and you kind of own your own fate as you're going through that. And that's why we included what we included in here. All right, just to further this, I went out and did a job search myself. This one was not that long ago, a couple weeks ago. I searched for A+. So what did I find? $17 an hour, $30,000 a year. I searched for a CCNA route and switch. What did I find? A little better, $60,000 a year. Oh, here's one for $25 an hour. And then that's them. This is us. So then I searched for some of the things that you get in our program. Okay, these are a little better numbers: $110,000, $70 an hour. Here's one for $125,000 to $200,000. These are real jobs. This is in Denver, Colorado, by the way. Now that doesn't mean you're going to get $200,000, but you shouldn't be surprised if you can, 3 years from today, you're out there talking about a job that's $125,000. The salaries on this stuff are much better because these are skills in demand. So big difference between one side of the line and another. And you can go out and do these searches yourself. You can go out and find them yourself. This is straight off some job boards. I just went to some random job boards, typed in the terms, took a screenshot of what I found because I want you to see what's really out there. I don't want you to think that I'm bashing other companies to try to get you to come into our program. And I don't want you to think I'm overselling what we're doing. I want you to see what's really out there, and I want you to be encouraged to see if I'm right or wrong. Go look. Okay? So any one of these jobs you could go apply for today. All right? So that kind of gives you an idea of what the market is, what it's bearing out there right now, and that should give you an idea on how to research yourself. So that ends that video. Pick up the next one. We'll kind of just